Hi, this is the Headset Historian, and today I want to take a look at a product that was sent over to me by Kiwi Design. This is the RGB vertical stand, so it's part of Made for Meta, so it's one of those kind of officially recognized products by Meta, which is a nice program to have. It kind of assures like a certain level of quality, but you know, personally, it's nice to see it, but it doesn't really factor in too much personally into a purchase. But yeah, first things first, I want to get across that this was sent to me for free by Kiwi, so thanks to Kiwi. But yeah, it's important just to disclose that. So this is, you know, kind of like a charging docking station, so it holds the headset and holds the controllers. It's also got a lovely RGB light on it, which is probably the most important feature anything could possibly have in 2024. But yeah, Kiwi sent this on over to me. It's a product I've been looking to get for a while. Not this specific one, but just this type of product. Particularly, I wanted something to charge the headset similar to the Quest Pro when I wasn't using it. And the fact that this also kind of works as like a nice kind of display stand should be a nice benefit too. So I haven't touched this yet. I'm going to open it now, give my first impressions, and then I'll go use it for a couple of weeks and get back to you. But first thing I'll say is the packaging looks quite good, which isn't a huge deal, but I find it to be quite a nice thing. It just kind of speaks well when companies put effort into the packaging, then usually it speaks well for the rest of it. So let's open it up and take a look at what's in the box. So very similar kind of white cover with the kind of plain cardboard design in the inside, so it's very similar to the official Quest 2 and Quest 3 box. So open it up here, make things better. Okay, that's kind of like an Apple sort of thing, I guess, where they have this, although I guess they're all companies kind of do similar packaging now. Then you've got up on this top part here, I'm not sure if you can see that, my camera might be blowing it out too much, but you've got instructions for how to assemble it. It's quite straightforward looking. So it comes in parts, which makes sense. So just kind of plastic parts as you'd expect. They feel, you know, they feel like they're fine quality, but kind of plastic parts or something like this are usually individually, when you feel them, they're fairly light, not anything too notable. So yeah, it seems well packaged. They've made good use of the space. So this is a plastic boxing. So, you know, a lot of people prefer cardboard, but it is what it is. Okay, so we've got some nice coatings on it, covered up. That seems, oh, that texture is really nice. Actually, interestingly enough, that texture doesn't capture fingerprints at all. I wonder what that is. I wonder why that's not used in more things. That seems like a really nice material choice. So it seems to be controller holders around here, and then we've got some buttons on the bottom for the controlling the RGB and such, I'm assuming, and then also a USB-C port there. So I'll put these parts to the side as I'm taking them out. This part probably isn't totally necessary. Here's the base. Ooh, that's really nice and hefty, good weight to that, so obviously you need it to be that sort of weight so it doesn't fall over. Otherwise there's nothing, you know, too notable. But actually, I'm quite impressed by the material quality though, overall so far. Then a clear plastic sheet. I'm guessing this is just to protect this, or is it? Yeah, I think it's just a wee protector. I don't think that's to be used for anything. And then we've got the kind of tower in the middle. Okay, so that all seems pretty straightforward. Is there anything hidden underneath? No. So you'll obviously be using the charger that came with your Quest for that. So and apologies again if this is really blown out on the camera. I'm kind of messing around with a few different camera settings. I'm currently in a temporary house, so I don't have my usual camera setup, but thankfully I'm moving to a permanent home soon where I can get an ideal setup. And there's, oh yes, this part here is probably the most important part. Is, oh, that's very nice, it's flexible. So this is the charging port, or sorry, the charging adapter. So you'll see that it's magnetic, quite a strong magnet. That's good. And it's one of those pogo pin designs, so don't expect any data transfer through that. It's going to be just purely power. But this part here, the fact that that's flexible, that's something I actually haven't seen before, which obviously I guess I'm thinking about it now. Obviously cables are flexible, so that's actually not that I suppose mental or anything, but it was just, yeah, I wasn't expecting that to be flexible. So, and yeah, then you've just got your instructions. I'm always shocked by how hefty booklets are for anything at all. So let me quickly put this together. I know there is instructions, but I'm going to just do the usual thing that everyone does and just wing it and see how I get on, which is, you know, the only way to do anything. So yeah, let's pop that on. I'm assuming this goes on here. Oops. Am I really going to have to look at the instructions? I can't bring myself to do that. Oh dear Lord, I will. I'm going to have to look at the instructions. This is bringing great shame to my family. Okay, so... okay, I'm doing it back to front actually, which I guess that makes sense, of course, because you want the weight to be matching the headset, so it slips on there. Okay, that makes more sense. So it doesn't really clip in any way, it just sits on it, but that's fine. You're obviously going to get gravity will ensure that it stays. Then you feed the power cable through here into this. I'm just going to put it straight on, put the power cable in later. Okay, that sits on. Again, I really like this material. So yeah, there we go. And this, I'm assuming, goes here, or nope, it goes the other way around. Okay, if you can't tell, I've already went back to not using the instructions. I don't know what that is in people's heads, especially my own, where it's using instructions is like a giving up for some reason. This part clips on here. Ah, very nice. Okay, and then this will go in here. Okay, that clips in nice. Okay, so I guess, yeah, like this makes sense. So when you're putting on the headset, it doesn't need to line up exactly. There's some flexibility about there. All right, so that's that. Let me grab a headset quickly and just set it on it for a moment. Hopefully I can get this all in frame, so it just sits on there as you'd expect, and that sits on, yeah, perfectly. There's no issue there. I don't need to tighten it up on the back to get it to stay on or anything. And let me see if I put this in here, pop it down. Yeah, okay, so there it's sitting on, and obviously with this battery bank strap that I have right now, you can't use it with the magnetic adapter, but you could always just plug in a different USB-C cable there going out to it. So they did also send me a battery head strap that works perfectly with this, so you can charge both the head strap and the headset from the magnetic port at the same time. So I'll get taking a look at that and let you know what that's like. But for now, I'll go off, I'll use this for a while, and I'll give you my review on it then. Hey, so I'm back again, and I've been using this for a wee while now, and originally I was going to spend a couple of weeks with it, but then I realized, wait, I don't need to spend a couple of weeks to try out a stand. So here we are. This is the magnetic Wii adapter if you're plugging into the headset, but I'll show you when I'm not using that in a second. And here's the stand itself. So there's buttons on the bottom for adjusting the RGB, which is quite nice. So you might not see it wonderfully in this lighting, but it should be good. So there's kind of a small pulsating effect here. There's a bunch of different kind of settings you can go through, and you can change it to, you know, steady or pulse or glow, whatever else you want. So that part's, you know, or you can turn it off if you prefer. So I've been using it for a bit. Here it stays on my station now, or on my desk rather, not station. And ignore the background, I have a TV pulled apart, some other head straps, you know, as how it goes. So yeah, I've been using it for a bit and I really like it, and I'm definitely going to keep it, and I'm going to keep using it. So the two main things, one was I wanted something where I could keep my headset on my desk ready to go, but not just lying about the desk. And then also I wanted obviously something that could charge the headset, similar to the Quest Pro. Now, of course, it's not going to charge the controllers, and you can get rechargeable controller setups, docks, but that for me personally isn't an issue. On the Quest Pro, you absolutely needed to charge the controllers, but that's because the controllers didn't have anywhere near the battery life of the Quest 3 controllers. Quest 3 controllers, you know, the battery life lasts like a month, so I just swap out the battery. I've got some rechargeable batteries. I always have a few of them going, so it's never an issue. I'd rather just pop a battery in when it's time to go rather than depend on needing to charge it anyway. So let me show you how it goes now with the headset. So I have the Kiwi design battery bank head strap on it, which is very nice, might I add, and that'll be in its own separate video. And you can see here that it's got the pogo pin magnetic adapter on this. So I pop it down here, and I'm not going to try to finesse it in any way. So, okay, never mind. There we go. Sorry, I was using, I couldn't really see with the camera. So let me do that again when I'm actually looking at it physically in real life. All right, so there we go. So you can see now it doesn't need to actually be completely closed in. You know what I mean? Like, it makes enough of a connection to start charging like that. And one really nice thing is the head strap battery bank is also charging, which I wasn't entirely sure. I know they said it's single point charging, but for some reason in my mind I was like, you know, if it's going in there, how's it going there and there? But no, they've obviously got some little, you know, controller and chip in there or whatever else, and it's, yeah, charging both at once. Really nice quality of life thing, because like anyone else using the Quest 3, you've probably had this situation plenty of times where you haven't used it for maybe a couple of weeks, there's just life's happening, whatever else. You know, I use my headset quite often, but it still ends up being where there might be a few days here and there and the headset's died or the battery has ran out, and then it also means that, you know, apps haven't updated or whatever else. So having something where it's just charged all the time, ready to go, is very, very nice indeed. So, you know, it's a straightforward product in that regard. It's got that one big nice feature, which is the magnetic adapter for charging, and it does come with this adapter, so you don't need their dedicated head strap. But I will say that is quite a nice quality of life feature, and it does make it a struggle to think, okay, how would I use another head strap? So what you could do is, you know, this part disconnects, so you don't need to use this cable, which is a very nice addition, because they could have locked that down and made it so no, you can only use R1. But what you can do then is, if you wanted to, you could have one of those other magnetic charging cables, or just a normal cable that goes from here to the battery bank if you had another battery bank head strap. So then if you'd done that, then you could have essentially the same functionality. It just wouldn't be this same nice just drop and go, but, you know, small thing. But yes, it is drop and go. And then one other thing, that it has the controller holders. I use grips. I use controller grips, kind of like index style grips. I was concerned that, you know, this looks like it's likely just for the standard default controller, but thankfully I can confirm those pop in without any issues. So there is clearance around it, which is nice that they thought of that. They didn't, you know, just make it so that you had to, you know, because they could have made it where it fits exactly to the stock controller, which would be obviously kind of nice, where it'd be nice and flush, but then you couldn't use any other controller accessories. So I can pop in the second controller here, and that's that. So there we go, we have the two controllers plugged in here. And one last thing I'll add is that it does stop charging the headset when the headset's full, and then the battery in the battery strap will continue charging on it until it's full, and then it'll stop. So that's a nice safety feature, and it ensures that you're not just overcharging the headset or constantly charging it. Of course, there shouldn't be any issues, but it is nice to have that feature. So the last thing I'll talk about is the price of this. So right now on the website, if you go to it, you'll see that you can get it for €135, and that's the RGB stand and the head strap. At first I was thinking, wow, that's quite a bit, but considering the convenience this adds and everything, it's not a bad price. For the vertical charging stand by itself, it's €68. So just this stand by itself is €68. So it used to be more, actually. So they've dropped the price a good bit. So €68 for this, considering, you know, the build quality and considering, you know, everything else, like just the functionality of it. Like it is a fair bit still, because you could just get a cable with a magnetic charging port, but this is quite nice. It just, you know, it feels a bit more intentional, if that makes sense. Like I feel like I would use this more, while if it's just a cable with a magnetic charging port, I'll probably not end up putting that in half the time. I did actually have a coupon for the RGB stand, but I think that's not working out. I think that price reduction has been baked into the price now. So the RGB stand was a bit more expensive before, so now it's like €68 by itself, and then €135 with the battery bank strap. If you're in the market for something like this, it's quite appealing. It's pretty good. I'll have a link to it below. One thing I'll note is it won't be a referral link, and anything I put on this channel, I'm not going to put referral links on, because I feel like that incentivizes a reviewer, you know, to really kind of push for people to buy things. So I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to have any referral links, but I will just have a link to it just for the sake of convenience. But yeah, overall, I think this RGB stand is pretty good, and I think it does its job quite well, and the magnetic function is pretty nice. But yeah, I really like it. I'm going to keep using it, and particularly for productivity, which is what I'm kind of using the Quest 3 for a lot these days. Having this kind of quick put down and it continue charging without having to actually physically plug in the cable and stuff over and over, really, really nice to have. So I'm going to keep using this, and yeah, it's going to stay on my desk where it is, and I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, I hope that was useful, hope it was informational, and yeah, feel free to ask any questions, and yeah, take care.